Once again, you have been marooned on Clash Island. Oh, I haven't said that in a long time. Welcome back over to the channel, man. I know I have been gone for months. I apologize. Y'all gotta understand, man. My laptop was broken, bro. But we have a new one. I don't know if you guys have seen the previous videos that we uploaded this week, but or this past weekend, excuse me, because I've been out of town. But we are back. The whole glitz and glamour. As you can see, I got the camera and everything hooked up. We're back. It feels so good to be back. Sitting in front of the camera is right where I'm supposed to be. And with me saying that, these videos are going to be coming left or right. I'm actually probably going to release 2 tonight, but that's beside the point. The reason why you've been I can't talk right now, have been marooned on Clash Island once more is because we have a movie to talk about. A movie that I absolutely love, I absolutely adored. I'm so glad I listened to our dear friend Jacob Rothman. Shout out to you, man. I was always gonna watch this film on my own, regardless, but he definitely sold me on it. So I wanted to make sure I saw it before I came back to work. And that film is Dune 2. Where do I start? Dune Part 2 is an epic, and it gave me a feeling that I hadn't had at the cinema since I went and saw Avengers Endgame. And I know that's a big claim to put on this movie, but it earned it, man. Like, at no point of the 2 hour and 45 minute runtime did I feel bored or did I feel I wasn't immersed in it. It was captivating from minute one all the way to the final scene in the film. They couldn't have done better with this. They really couldn't have. Me personally, I like longer films because they're usually better movies, but at no point did I feel like I was watching something that could have been better. So let's start it off. Okay, so first of all, yes, this is one of those films that I do feel like you need to watch the first one to pick it up. I don't think you can just pick up Dune Part 2, automatically know what's going on after the first hour or so, and then and then lock into the rest of the film. So I don't feel like it's one of those. So you do need to watch Part 1 that came out in 2020. Now, mind you, this is a remake, so make sure you don't get those mixed up. So Dune 2020 was the original. In the original, the crowd that watched it was a little split. And the reason why the crowd that watched it was a little split is because the movie itself was the world building portion of the story. Right? We're setting the stage, we're introducing Paul Atreides and his family, we're introducing the main storyline of essentially, spoiler alert, his family losing everything, him losing his father, him, losing their entire empire overnight. Literally, it was overnight. And the conspiracy that was surrounding by that. And then in the second film, you get a small little recap, and then it just takes, I'm going to try not to curse in this video, it just takes off from there. The cast was incredible. I mean, as you can see, they're listed right here on screen next to me. The cast was incredible to start off with. I'm leaning the wrong way. The cast was incredible to start off with. In fact, let me make this a little smaller because it's kind of big. Pause. Let me make it a little smaller. Okay. So, the cast is probably the biggest selling point of the film because if you really know these actors, Josh Brolin, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, Timothy Chalamet, and then others, Christopher Walken, Florence Pugh. These are all really big name actors who have put together extremely successful careers for themselves. So all of them are mega stars on their own, and you bring them all together, you automatically know it's going to be a great time. But would the writing be there? Is the question. Usually, when you have a powerhouse cast like this, the writing usually is usually incredible. But sometimes we've seen films miss the point. This isn't one of those films. The writing is there. The pacing was surprisingly really, really good. In most cases, in the sequel, it's not as good as the first. This movie trumps the first when it comes to pacing, especially 10 times over. 10 times over. It just trumps it. All of the acting was incredible. Javier Bardem was great. Better than, well, I'm not going to say better than expected because I expected him to be great, but he was incredible. This film, Timothy Chalamet being the star, being Paul Atreides, I have to say, and this is a huge compliment, I have to say I didn't feel like I was watching Timothy Chalamet play Paul Atreides. I felt like I was just watching Paul Atreides assume his destiny. That is a massive compliment. I only reserve that compliment for what I consider the perfect casting. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Um, you know, I would say Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Um, Perfect casting, right? I would say Tom Holland as Spider Man, but I feel like a lot of people could play Spider Man, but that is another one that I do consider a perfect casting. Timothy Chalamet being him is perfect, and it's so much so his acting was so good, his mannerisms were so good, was so on point with the character itself. Again, in my eyes now, he is Paul Atreides. I know this is a remake, but he's Paul Atreides. And man, this movie has so many great moments that I don't want to reveal, but we're gonna move on to the overall theme of the film, which it had multiple themes going off at once. But if I had to narrow it down to two, it would be uh, seeking revenge and getting it, and two, assuming one's destiny. Those are the two main portions of it, and then there's a third under theme, or something going on in the background that really takes over the film late in the movie, and that theme would be becoming, and it's one of my favorite words, becoming a usurper. I don't know if y'all know what that word means, but it means like taking the throne by force, taking a position of power by force. And once that happened, I mean, the mood just changed. The character himself goes through a sort of metamorphosis in the film that completely changes his character. Well, I wouldn't say completely changes it, but changes it drastically, and he assumes the role of usurper. So, man, the action was phenomenal. The action was phenomenal. The set pieces, the production design was phenomenal. The music was, I mean, expectedly so, was sensational. It was. But the real kicker of the film is that to most people, 2 hours and 45 minutes seems like a long runtime. I felt like I was only sitting there for an hour and a half. That's how good the movie was. Because to me, like I said earlier, I'm really a big fan on longer films because those are usually some of the best films ever made. It having a longer runtime of 2 hours and 45 minutes was nothing to me. I sat through Zack Snyder's Justice League in one sitting, and for all of y'all who've seen it, you would know that that's 4 hours long. It did not feel like it was a very long movie to me, but that's because it was paced so well. It was paced correctly. Couple of special shout outs. Zendaya's acting was, I mean, chef's kiss. She was great. The fight scene choreography was better than the first film, which isn't a big, because it didn't need much improvement. The fight scenes were really good in the first one, but it was a stark improvement in this one. Another special shout out, Austin Butler's character. I think he played Fade Rathua Harkonnen. He was the, what do they call it, the Na Baron. He stole the show for a minute. He was the perfect amount of sinister. Like, if I had to give you an example of who his character was, take Voldemort from Harry Potter, right, and mix him with like Pennywise from It. That's literally who the character was. I mean, he was just sinister for no reason. He was a hedonist. He was an opportunist. He was extremely ambitious, and he was vicious. And it just rolled off of him. I really felt like more or less than anything I was watching. I felt like I was watching Bill Skarsgård play this character. He looked so much like him in the film, which I found kind of surprising. He looked so much like Bill Skarsgård's It, Pennywise. But that's a compliment though, because he was great. But his villainy in the film added an extra little bit of flavor in there, and I really liked it. Man, it's not so much. It's I can't say too much about the film. It was great. I think I went and saw it Monday night. I can't wait for the next film, Messiah. To give you guys before I go into how to set up the third film, I do want to go ahead and say that with this film, I want to give my favorite part. My favorite part, and again, spoilers, my favorite part was Paul's speech toward the end of the film. You know, after he had drank the water of life. Oh my God, these people are going to kill me. I'm going to have to put a spoilers warning on this. After he had drank the water of life, his eyes were open, and he was able to see both the past and the future, and he learned the truth of everything and learned what he must do to become, you know, the emperor of space, the head of all the families. Once he knew what he had to do, that speech that he gave in that temple was captivating. I mean, I want to be honest. That was Timothy Chalamet's best acting that I had seen in that one part. And if I had to give how I felt when I was watching it, it was inspirational, but it wasn't fully a story of I'm motivating my legion to follow me. It was more or less on I'm taking over my way or the highway, but I'm gonna lead you to paradise. You know, that's how it felt. That's why I said that's where I meant when I said that he had become a usurper at that point. He felt like in that moment he didn't feel like a savior. He felt like Anakin Skywalker. Another compliment. He felt like Anakin Skywalker, his character. But that was my favorite scene, man. He gave off intimidation. Even with his boyish good looks, he gave off intimidation. He gave off ruling with an iron fist while also giving off the role of savior. That's hard to do. If you're trying to portray a role. He gave off a feeling of savior, but I'm the only one who can save you. You know what I mean? And I am your leader, but if I have to sacrifice you, I will. He gave us both, and it was extremely captivating. That's the word I want to use when I say that. So, on all-time speeches, I feel like I could put it on the list top 10 all time. It's up there with the speech that Delios gave in 300, with the King's speech from the King's Speech. It's up there with Tom Hanks' speech from I think that was Wind Talkers. That was Wind Talkers. I was about to say Saving Private Ryan, but I'm pretty sure it was Wind Talkers. That speech was great. But it's up there. It's on the top 10 list. I can't think of all of them right now because my brain's all over the place. But oh yeah, for sure, it was great. I cannot wait for the third one, Messiah. It's spoiler alert. It's getting ready to go into all-out war. You can feel it. But if I remember correctly, there's going to be a fairly big time skip that's going to take place. I don't know if it's going to happen in the third film. I can't imagine that it will, but it's coming soon. There's a fairly big time skip, and I am very interested to see where they're going to take it because of how great the second one is. So, final verdict. Like I said, it was not going to be a long video, but final verdict. I want to give Dune Part 2, directed by Denis Villeneuve, starring Timothy Chalamet, starring Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, and Zendaya. I want to give it the ever-coveted hard 10. It is a surefire 10 out of 10. I wouldn't change a thing. It was a great film. I am not overselling it. Please go see it before it leaves theaters, because to truly capture where you are on planet Arrakis, to truly capture the feeling that came from the movie. It felt very spiritual at moments. And to truly experience that, you need to be in the theater. I was there damn near by myself. There was two other people in the theater room, but it was a Monday. Like, who goes to the movies on Monday? Me. It was a Monday, so it was super empty. That way, I really felt like I could lock in. Nobody was going to ruin the experience for me. This is one of those movies. It's just as much as an experience as it is a well-written, well-directed, well-portrayed film. You know, very well executed. But that's our review of Dune Part 2. I want to do more of these, but there's not a lot of movies this year that I've seen trailers of that I really, really wanted to watch. I am going to do one for Godzilla and Kong that's coming out on March 29th. I'm going for my birthday to see it. It's another thing for those of you guys who don't know. I think I mentioned it before, but I turn 32 next week. You know, on the 28th. Happy birthday to me ahead of time. But other than that, stay tuned for the next video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of the film. Was I too generous with it? Did I miss some things? Did I spoil some things for you? Let me know in the comments. Other than that, stay tuned for the next video. I should be making a second one tonight. It's going to be completely unrelated, but I should do a second video tonight. And with that, we're going to sign off. I'm going to say, as always, I am DEFF-SOUL. That's what the hat reads. And we out of here, y'all.